Hey, happy Halloween, everyone. Yes, it's Halloween. Ooh, scary kids, scary. Coming at you in 3D. Ooh. Okay, yeah, that's some old SCTV references there. Anyway, so it is Halloween. Hopefully, everybody's ready to have some good spooky fun all day and all night. And no, I am not wearing some horror mask. This is my regular mug, folks. Yes. Well, that being said, I've got something else to say, and that is the Daily Dope is in the air. Howdy, howdy, howdy. Yes, I'm Jeff McAleer, back once again as your host here at The Daily Dope. Presented by thegaminggang.com. Yes, so welcome aboard. This is episode 188. It is Wednesday. I know it's Halloween, but it is Wednesday, and that means I'm going to be looking at a war game or wargame product. And today I'm actually going to be taking a first look. I would say unboxing, but it doesn't come in a box. But I am going to be taking a look at Ariovistus, which is an expansion, just came out. It's brand new from GMT Games for Falling Sky, which I want to say is I think it's the 6th volume in their coin series. So it looks pretty interesting. So I'm going to dig into that in just a little bit. Do have quite a bit of news today, so that's pretty cool as well. If this is your first time tuning in, keep in mind this is very, very casual. Just sit and kind of chat about games and share some gaming news, and then we do a review or we take a look at something, unbox it, take a first look. So there is chat available because this is a live stream, even though I do realize that most people will watch this long after the fact. But if you are watching live, by all means, feel free, join in chat. It is through YouTube. I gotta be honest, there's no chat on screen because it's one of the ways I keep some of the stranger commenters at bay. But I do follow the chat, so if you have a question or you want to say hello, or maybe you want to see something a little bit closer, feel free, chime in, and I will respond. Okay, that being said, let's move on to the news, because I do have a good amount of news today. And first off, an English language edition of Vladimir Suchi's Underwater Cities. I believe the last name is pronounced Suchi. Anyway, the game is Underwater Cities. It is coming in early 2019 from Rio Grande Games, and I've got the dope. In Underwater Cities, which takes about 30 to 45 minutes per player, players represent the most powerful brains in the world. Brains. Oh no, wait, no, we're not talking zombies. Brains nominated due to the overpopulation of Earth to establish the best and most livable underwater areas possible. The main principle of the game is card placement. 3 colored cards are placed along the edge of the main board into 3x5 slots, which are... Excuse me, wow. I could tell that sneeze was coming on for about the last 30 seconds because it's a little dusty down here in the duct tape studios today. Anyway, the main principle of the game is card placement. 3 colored cards are placed along the edge of the main board into 3x5 slots, which are also colored. Ideally, players can place cards into slots of the same color. Then they can take both actions and advantages. The action depicted in the slot on the main board and also the advantage of the card. Actions and advantages can allow players to intake raw materials to build and upgrade city domes, tunnels, and production buildings such as farms, desalination devices, and laboratories in their personal underwater area, to move their marker on the initiative track, which is important for player order in the next turn, to activate the player's A cards, not to be confused with the A team, and to collect cards, both special ones and basic ones, that allow for better decision possibilities during gameplay. All of the nearly 220 cards, whether special or basic, are divided into 4 types according to the way and time of use. Underwater areas are planned to be double-sided, giving players many opportunities to achieve victory points and finally win. As I previously mentioned, the game is for 1 to 4 players, ages 14 and up, and about 30 to 45 minutes per player. I like the fact that we are looking at a solitaire element to this. There is no official release date or MSRP info as of yet. Now, I do want to point out, this game has been out, I think it's in Polish? Maybe it's in German. So this is going to be the English language edition of the game. This sounds pretty interesting. And, wow, all of a sudden I'm getting all congested a little bit. My sinuses are kind of like, blah. Weird. Felt great till I came down here. Huh, strange. Ugh, I don't want to be sitting here sniffling in that. Anyway, this does seem pretty interesting, especially if you're a fan of games like, say, Terraforming Mars. Wonder if it had a little inspiration to the design for this. But 220 different cards, I guess it's different projects and things like that. Sounds pretty interesting. So my next piece of news, hey, let's stay with the seas, why don't we? Because there is a new game coming from North Star Games. It's going to be part of their Evolution line. It is called Oceans, and I've got the dope. After testing the waters with Evolution in 2014, North Star Games has decided to dive headfirst into hobby games with their most ambitious project to date, Oceans. Wow, I need a sip real quick. I might have to pop off screen to blow my nose if this keeps coming. Anyway, Oceans is the latest entry in the Evolution Games series and a grand accumulation of effort by North Star Games to design the ultimate gamers game. Years in the making, Oceans has been a collaborative effort between Nick Bentley, veteran game designer and former neurobiologist, Brian O'Neill, professor of marine biology, and Dominic Krepchettis, award-winning game designer with 3 million units sold. Oh, fancy dancy, aren't we? Whereas the previous games in the Evolution series were bound exclusively by the science, and the core of this game is as well, Oceans expands upon it with a new set of cards called The Deep. This fantastical set of new cards stretch the boundaries of the game from science to science fiction by including creatures like the Leviathan and the Hydra. North Star Games is actually looking for outside playtest groups to explore this game ahead of the game's release set for 2019. Oceans is too deep for just one team to explore. Select playtesters will be instrumental in polishing the best board game our company has ever released, states Dominic Krepchettis, founder and co-president of North Star Games. I don't say this lightly. We have gone full throttle into the game, and I'm excited for true game enthusiasts to dive into. At this point, I understand Oceans is going to be for 2 to 4 players. That kind of falls into the range of the usual Evolution line. Ages 12 and up, and we'll play in about 45 to 75 minutes. Of course, obviously enough, because they are looking for some outside playtesters, there's no firm release date or MSRP yet for Oceans. So, gotta say, big fan of North Star Games, more serious games. Now, I like their other games too, their party games, stuff like that. Don't get me wrong, but definitely dig their Evolution lineup. This is something that looks pretty interesting, but I'm kind of curious because we are seeing some previews of 2 different art styles. So we are seeing the art style. I cannot remember the woman's name who is the artist. It's the images that kind of have like almost like a Peter Max kind of vibe to them, including the box art that we're showing right now. So we've got that, which is kind of the traditional Evolution art style. And then we have more of a photorealistic art style that we're seeing too. So I'm not sure which direction they're going to go, and I highly doubt if they're going to use both art styles. This is definitely something to keep your eyes on for next year. And I guarantee my friends over at North Star Games Bruce and Luke and the rest of the gang will probably be sending me some stuff so we can check this out. Okay, so rather than talking about games that are coming out way in the future, or at least next year, let's talk about something that's arriving next month, because there is a cutely styled family game that has kind of caught my eye. It's from Strawberry Studio, which I am not familiar with Strawberry Studio, but I do have the dope on Little Monster that came for lunch and stayed for tea. Well, well. It's lunchtime, and a most unusual company has arrived. Some are tall, some are short, some have scales for hair or tentacles for feet, but all of them are really, really hungry. Not for you, though, don't worry. Can you fill their bellies before anyone else beats you to tea? Well, Little Monster that came for lunch and stayed for tea, that's kind of a mouthful, isn't it? Is a light racing game in which playing your cards right and using the abilities of your two unique monsters makes for a very tasty difference. Each game you're assigned two unique little monsters to feed as quickly as you can as you race against 1, 2, or 3 opponents. Each little monster has its own special skill, and you want to combo those skills and card abilities to create awesome combos. Yeah, well, if you're comboing, you would create combos, right? On your turn, you either play or draw cards. If you play, you create combos that will move your monsters forward, pushing your opponent's critters backwards. Is that like away from the snacks? Is that away from lunch? You win the game as soon as both of your monsters reach the end of the table. So there we go. So you're pushing monsters back away from the table. Anyway, you win the game as soon as both of your monsters reach the end of the table, so eat up. You can explain this game within minutes. You will choose 14 unique little monsters, each with their own special skill. Combine monster skills and card abilities into awesome combos. Yes, we did mention that. Play with your family or your gamer friends. Share the fun with anyone. In every game, you'll be assigned two unique little monsters to feed as fast as you can, so you will have a great racing game with 1, 2, or 3 opponents. Little Monster that came for lunch and stayed for tea is for 2 to 4 players, ages 8 and up, plays in about 20 minutes, and will carry an MSRP of $19.95 when it arrives on November 21st. This looks cute. I gotta say, this looks pretty cute. I like the artwork. I have to laugh, so I did have to kind of blow up some images, so they're not as crisp and clear as I would have liked. But you've got the little monsters. You got one that's named Francine. You got another named Lloyd. Come on, how can you not love that? Looks pretty cute, and I would say $19.95 is a very fair price for what looks to be a fun little game that's going to be good for the whole family. All right, it is Wednesday, talking war games, so how about a little war game news? Which is funny, because usually I get wargaming news on Thursdays, which is RPG days around here, but I don't know, for some strange reason. Anyway, there is a Kickstarter. There are still 5 days left in this Kickstarter from Columbia Games, and I've got the dope on Victory, at least Victory 2nd Edition. Victory is a fast-paced strategy game of World War II combat using the popular Columbia block system, where each unit is facing the player, but not the opponent. This fog of war aspect allows for feints, bluffs, and outright surprises not found in many other war games. Victory is a combined arms war game where you command a variable force of Army, Navy, and air units, all with different strengths and abilities. And now, by popular demand, Columbia Games has re-released Victory with the elite units included with the main game. This gives Victory even more depth with torpedo bombers, engineers, supply units, and more. The power to create battles from skirmishes to worldwide conflicts. The base game comes with 4 geomorphic maps. These tactically rich maps will combine to create numerous battles. The Dirty Dozen 12-map kit add-on allows the creation of anything from small skirmishes to entire wars. Up to 6 extra armies can be added for multiplayer gameplay or to set up neutral forces in special battle scenarios. Each army includes any stretch goal units that are reached in the campaign. A terrific deal. That is Columbia's words, not mine. But still, seems like a pretty good deal. Now, Columbia has put together a short Kickstarter video. It's just under 2 minutes, so let's kick back and take a peek.
Victory is a fast-paced strategy game of World War II combat using the popular Columbia block system where each unit is facing the player, but not the opponent. This fog of war aspect allows for feints, bluffs, and outright surprises not found in many other war games. Victory is a combined arms war game where you command a variable force of army, navy, and air units, all with different strengths and abilities. Columbia Games has now released the elite units within the main box set itself. This gives the base game even more depth with torpedo bombers, engineers, supply units, and more. And now, even more new units can be added with stretch goals from this Kickstarter with new arrivals such as transports, cavalry, engineers, and atom bombs. Victory comes with 4 tactically rich geomorphic maps. These maps will combine to create numerous battles from small skirmishes to entire wars. Up to 6 extra armies can be added for multiplayer gameplay or to set up neutral forces in special battle scenarios. For young adults and grizzled gamers alike, Victory is easy to learn and challenging to master. So storm the beach now and let loose the blocks of war and achieve your victory.
For victory, baby. Oh yeah, oh yeah. Hey, you know, I needed to fix the videos. I actually, funny enough, if you watched yesterday's show where I did the first look at Axis and Allies and Zombies, which most people thought I should have been doing today for Wargame Wednesday, and it's Halloween, but I didn't because I wanted to get that out there as soon as possible. You know that I had a hard drive crash. If you watched yesterday's show or noticed that I didn't have a show on Monday. So I had to recreate all of this stuff, all these files that I use to do the stream. So there's been a couple of little hiccups. Not so bad. Not like when I first started last year, where it seemed like everything was something kind of crazy. But normally you shouldn't see my mug sitting there like doo-doo-boop-doo-ba-doo-ba-doo-boop. Oh, video's over. Anywho, V for victory, baby, because there are still 5 days left to support the Victory Kickstarter. The project is 140% funded, and you can reserve a copy of the core set for a $49 pledge. There are some stretch goals that have been unlocked. Those are included in the $49 pledge. Interestingly enough, expected delivery is actually December of this year. That's pretty sweet. Normally, Kickstarters you see, oh, you know, we'll get to see it in November of 2019. Nope, that is not the case with this one. So there are extra armies that you can get. There are extra maps that you can get. Wide variety of different add-ons. But I do want to mention that you can reserve the core set, which is what I was talking about in this press release. In the press release for $49. So pretty sweet. Got to point out, I like the Columbia block games, the Fog of War games. Now, I haven't played a ton. And for some strange reason, I don't know. I fell off the earth with Columbia. Really should reach out to Grant again one of these days. Try to get back on board. But I remember way back in the day when I played my first Fog of War block game from Columbia. It was at Gen Con, and Gen Con was being held back up in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. And I played, it was either Bobby Lee or Sam Grant. I think it was Bobby Lee. And played the Union, and I defeated the Confederates. So that was pretty cool. Defeated them pretty quickly. But I have played the Stonewall Jackson game. I have played the Julius Caesar game. reviewed those, really enjoyed them. So another thing I should point out is Columbia Games has been around for a long time, and there have been many war game companies that have come and gone in the period of time that Columbia has been around. So this is not a Kickstarter where you have to worry about actually receiving your product, folks. All right, moving right along. There is a new supplement available from Magpie Games for their hit RPG, Masks, a new generation. And here's the dope on Unbound. Supers know that Halcyon City, the greatest city in the world, doesn't just exist in this dimension. It's a nexus of the multiverse, where an enterprising dimensional shifter could hop around to all manner of other worlds with other problems, other powers, or other versions of you. Here are 4 such worlds, strange mirrors of our own Halcyon City. They beckon to show you what is and what could be. Unbound is a source book for the role-playing game Masks, a new generation, that shows off 4 different new and unusual ways to play Masks. The base game assumes that you're young superheroes in Halcyon City, but with these play sets, you can play entirely new stories, still all centered around issues of identity and finding yourself. In this book, you get 4 new playsets, including the alien resistance story of the Iron Red Soldiers, the gritty street-level crime drama of Spiderweb, the teen antics of Phoenix Academy, and the cosmic road trip adventure of Apocalypse Sonata. 3 new limited edition playbooks are also in this new release to add to your game of Masks, along with advice for using them in your game. Does your team of heroes have what it takes to explore the infinite varieties of the multiverse? Time to find out. You can snag the 144-page PDF from DriveThruRPG right now for $11.99. Or, if you'd like, you can pre-order the soft cover and PDF for $19.99, or the hardcover and PDF for $34.99 from the Magpie website. Sweet! I have heard awesome things about Masks, A New Generation. This is sort of the, I believe, A New Generation is kind of like the second edition of Masks. And it's fairly recent. I want to say A New Generation came out last year-ish? Maybe end of 2016? There is some other news as well from Magpie Games. I didn't put together some images because there really aren't any images to talk about. But the hit board game Root, a game of woodland might and right from Letter Games, or I think it's Letter Games, it's not Leader Games, has actually gotten on board with Magpie Games, and Magpie is going to do a Root role-playing game. So pretty sweet. Anyway, back to talking about Masks. If you're a fan of comics like Teen Titans, Young Justice, the cartoon, X-Men in some ways, Young Avengers when that book was out, Runaways even, I would think, this is definitely something for you to take a peek at. This is not your typical superhero role-playing, and it is a Powered by the Apocalypse game. And like I said, I have heard wonderful things about it. I've heard that it also has a lot of great info for people running Powered by the Apocalypse games, because they can be a little tricky. So this is one to check out. So do want to mention, today is going to be the last day I talk about this. I'm sure people who watch the show every day or most days are probably tired of hearing about this, but today is the last day for the DriveThruRPG Halloween sale. There are thousands of items that you can save 30% or more on, but I keep pointing out that one of the cool things going on right now during the sale are the treats, the trick-or-treats that you get for free throughout all the various different drive-thru websites, except for Wargame Vault. Oh well. But DriveThruRPG, RPG Now, DriveThruCards, DriveThruFiction, DriveThruComics, all tons of stuff. And the funny thing is, even at the fiction and comic site, it's still a lot of role-playing game stuff. There are over 30 different free items, including the core book for Kids on Bikes from Hunters Entertainment and Renegade Game Studios. Sins of the Father, the Emmy Award nominated role-playing game from Third Eye Games. It's a horror game. There's also the Holiday Mini Dungeon Collection from Adventure Week Games. Those PDFs are all $10 PDFs. That's just an example of 3 items you can get absolutely free. Be sure to swing by thegaminggang.com. I do have an article that's up, and it will show you where everything is at all the different sites, tell you exactly what you're going to get, and I even have everything linked. So all you need to do is have an account through the drive-thru sites to score all these free items that are super cool, and today is the last day. Do want to mention also that, of course, the Gaming Gang is an affiliate of Drive-Thru RPG. So if you are going to go visit a drive-thru site, either go check out the freebie stuff that I've got the article about, or click on one of our banners, and then when you go to a drive-thru site, if you happen to make a purchase, we get a small portion of that sale. And those little portions actually go a long way to really helping us out. In fact, if you take a close look, this is actually a picture of my account where I'm showing the little bat icon, because you're looking for the hidden icons to get the freebies. You see it under the cart where it shows the small little sales added up to like $97 that month. So like I said, it helps keep us around. It really pays for the hosting for the Gaming Gang, and thus, of course, helps out with the Daily Dope too. So, and I always talk about how the Gaming Gang does not have cheap hosting, right? It's not GoDaddy $3 a month hosting. So you can't pull in the traffic that we do with $3 hosting. All right, so as I mentioned, I am going to be looking at Ariovistus. I think I'm pronouncing that correctly. From GMT Games in just a couple of minutes. Did want to talk about what's coming up on future episodes, as well as the big Extra Life charity event that I am going to be taking part in. I'm kind of the brains behind it again this year. That's going to be this Saturday, November 3rd. So just want to kind of touch on that a little bit. I will have all the official stuff tomorrow. It's all going to be out on Twitter, Facebook, on the website, things like that. Got a lot of cool stuff going on. Got a lot of cool giveaways. That is one of the biggest things. Something that's a little different than probably most of the Extra Life tabletop gaming streams that you'll see is we've got some giveaways and some pretty cool stuff. So we are going to be playing Everdell, which really enjoy that. That's going to be like the 10 a.m. to noon slot, because we're doing 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. We're doing 12 hours. So I don't think we can really push more than 12 hours of gaming. So not at our age, you know. If it was just Elliot and I think we would actually try to do the 24 hours. But so anyway, so we are going to be playing Everdell. That will be from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. We have a 3-pack of games from Starling Games imprint Happy Meeple Games, simply because Everdell is sold out at the distributor level, so they don't have any copies they can give away. So we're going to have a 3-pack of family games from Happy Meeple for the largest donation during that block. We are going to be playing Axis and Allies and Zombies. So if you happen to have watched yesterday's stream, you saw my first look. I did an unboxing. Well, guess what? We're going to be playing it during the stream, and we've got a copy to give away from Avalon Hill Games. So that's pretty sweet right there. We have Craig Van Ness was kind enough. I just reviewed Shifting Realms last Friday. I don't know if we're going to get a game of Shifting Realms in for the charity stream, but Craig was so nice. He's going to give away 2 copies of Shifting Realms for people who donate during our Extra Life charity stream. It's going to be kind of like a lightning giveaway, right? I'm not going to say when it's going to happen. So kind of incent people to kind of watch the stream for a while, as opposed to just tuning in to watch specific games. So we're going to be doing that. You know what? Honestly, I would have done Betrayal Legacy from Avalon Hill, but it's still under embargo until next Friday. So can't do that. We are playing some Tiny Epic Zombies, some Tiny Epic Galaxies. That's going to be our morning. We're going to start that off, kind of start off a little light. So that's going to be 8 to 10. This is all Central Standard Time. And I have yet to hear back from Michael Coe, so I don't know if we got some giveaways there. But we are going to wrap up from 6 to 8. We're going to play 1960, The Making of the President from GMT Games. And I am going to be offering up some GMT giveaways. Here's the funny thing. So, the coin series is getting reprints, right? So we got a bunch of reprints coming out. Got a Distant Plane. So we've got a Distant Plane, that's the insurgency in Afghanistan. We got Fire in the Lake. Whoa, this is like the heaviest one, which is Vietnam. Okay, so this is another coin series title. And then we've got, I got all this stuff stacked up next to me here. We've got Andy and Abyss, which I want to say, I think this is the first game in the series. I think this was the first game. So here's the thing. I've done written reviews for all three of those games. What I haven't done, and I thought for sure I had, and I will double check once again, but I did not run across it. I never did unboxing videos. I never did first look videos at these games, right? So there's just a few images in these written reviews. So what I want to do is I want to do some unboxing videos, some first look videos, of course. But after that, I've already reviewed them, right? You know, I don't necessarily have to still have them in my collection. So I think during our 1960, The Making of the President, where Elliot Miller, my best friend, voiceofe.com, and I are going to go head to head. I'm going to take one or two of these and do giveaways for the largest donation during that 2-hour block. And only thing is that I will need to shoot first look videos, so they will not be in shrink. They won't be punched, they won't be played, they'll still be brand spanking new. They just won't be in shrink. So bouncing that around, I think I might put that out on Twitter tonight. See if people want to vote on that. So I will have all the official stuff for our 2018 charity stream for Extra Life tomorrow. Our team name is The Schmoes, which is kind of a nod back to the day when Elliot and I and some of our friends were on a dart team. We used to play in different bars, and we were called The Schmoes. So, because we're just a bunch of schmoes, what can I tell you, right? So, have more of that for you on tomorrow's show, and of course on Twitter, on the website, and things like that. So, what's coming up on the Daily Dope? So, tomorrow, Thursdays, RPGs, I like to do them. I am going to review Vampire the Masquerade 5th edition from White Wolf Entertainment and Modiphius Entertainment. Or is it White Wolf Publishing? Maybe it's White Wolf Publishing. Anyway, it's from White Wolf and Modiphius. I know people are probably thinking, wait a second, today's Halloween, Jeff. How come you're not doing it today? Because it's Wednesdays, man. I like to do war games on Wednesdays. So, and that's, most people are used to, like, if they're war gamers, they're like, oh, okay, well, I'm going to watch the Daily Dope from Wednesday because I know Jeff's going to be talking about some war games. I don't want to throw people off. So that is going to be on tomorrow's show. On Friday's show, I'm actually using it to hold this up. This is the second edition of Block by Block, the Insurrection game, which I did a very detailed preview of this for the Kickstarter. This is the second edition, so we're going to take a look to see what the retail version of this game is going to look like. So that's on Friday's show. On Monday's show, we're going to take a look to see what is in the new expansion, the new release for Ascension, Delirium. So we will take a peek at that. I have not played Ascension in quite a while. Then on Tuesday's show, going to review The Captain is Dead Lockdown from AEG. So we've got that coming. And then on Friday next week, I'm sure I'll have a GMT thing, I'm sure, next Wednesday. On Friday, we are finally going to get a chance to show off what's in Betrayal Legacy from Avalon Hill, which I had an opportunity to actually play the prologue as well as the first tale at a special media event that was in Chicago at the Red Lion Pub earlier this month. So pretty sweet. Okay, so that is what's cooking. That's what's on the horizon. So I know folks are tuning in because they want me to show off what is in Ariovistus. I think I'm pronouncing that correctly. It is a Falling Sky expansion from GMT Games. It's designed by Andrew and Volko Runke. The original game, Falling Sky, is for 1 to 4 players, and this expansion is out right now. It is available, and it carries an MSRP of $38. So let's move on to the other camera. So let's get this on out of the plastic here. I'm going to pop on my reading specs. So Falling Sky is basically a game about Caesar in Gaul. So, and the various different factions. Oh, man, that just came banging out of here. So we've got some expansion rules. We've got some new play pieces. So I believe there's a new faction. I think there's a new faction being added to this. I'm not positive. So we do have some new cylinders in that. So we'll take a peek at these real quick. Yep, so we've got these new cylinders. We've got some new hexagonal. Oh, these are stuck together. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Come on, pop off. Sweet. Didn't tear the paint off. So that's cool. And these are cut. So they're actually cut a little bit so the paint resides inside the cut. So we've got that. Another, I think, if I remember right, I think this is a liter cylinder here. Now I got a blue one. So we got a bunch of some extras. Oh wow, not sure what that is. Looks like a bore. So we've got the various different extra cylinders and wooden pieces here. So we got that. We've got a new deck of cards. Here's one of the things that I saw right away is we've got some new faction boards. And these are quite a lot thicker. They are laminated here. That's why you're seeing some glare when I kind of move it around. So we got the Germanic tribes, which are these tokens right here, these plain pieces here. We got the Roman Republic. We've got the Belgic tribes. I know, I'm mispronouncing all this stuff. I understand. So, we got the Confederation. And we got the Federation. I will be the first to point out that I have listened to quite a few audiobooks and lecture series about like ancient Rome, but none that like really delve like really into a deep dive like Falling Sky does, right? Of course, the events in Falling Sky are probably covered in like one of the lectures or something like that from the lecture series I've listened to. So we got a new deck of cards. We'll take a look at those in a sec. So Falling Sky was Volume 6. I was right. I thought it was like Volume 6. Okay, so we've got the expansion rules. Take a look at that in a sec. We got new non-player rules. So this is one of the things that I do know is new. I think, I believe that the new non-player AI is a bit more aggressive than it had been in the past. So then we've got a playbook. Got a lot of stuff here for your $38. I gotta say. Then we've got the new charts. So we've got new charts for the non-player Germans, Romans, so on. Then we've got a guideline summary. So we've got, how many of these? 4 is my guess. Yep, I got 4 of them. So we've got that. Then we've got a sequence of play for Ariovistus. Talking about the winter card. Then we've got the Germanic tribes. So we've got another sequence of play here. Look like these are... Yeah, these are identical, but on the back, we see the Celts. Talking about their phase. Oh, we have another one of these? So what is it, 5? Yeah, wow. Oh no, but this is different. So these are the 4 like this. Then we've got non-player Romans. So basically what we're looking at is if you want to play as the Germanic tribes. That is, looks like that's the main aspect to this new expansion. Cool. And we got some new counters. Not a bunch. We do have a new counter sheet. Britannia, not in play. Britannia, unplayable. So we do see that these are dual-sided. So pretty sweet there. So let's take a look at the rulebook. We're just going to kind of flip through to get a better peek here. Yeah, it looks like we're in frame. So we got an introduction. So yes, this is a prequel expansion to Coin Series Volume 6, Falling Sky, which is necessary to play, obviously enough. As the first part of the Roman conquest of Gaul when Caesar intervened against the migrating Helvetii, turned back a Germanic invasion led by the Subai chieftain Ariovistus, and suppressed the strongly resistant Veneti maritime tribe. All right, so so I'm trying to remember. I believe, if I remember my history correctly, didn't Caesar kind of massacre one of the tribes? Was it the Helvetii or Helvetii? For some reason that's popping in my head. But then again, like I said, I'm not. I know some ancient history, but not it's not as if I could sit there and like teach it. So you show the sequence of play, commands, special abilities, the events, winter. So there's a change to the winter round for the game. We got victory. Non-players, talking about the various different non-players. Setup and scenarios. Talking about preparing deck. So we've got the Ariovistus scenario. We've got the Gallic War scenario. Okay, so we've got, it's like 2 scenarios, right? No, maybe it's just the one. It's just, yeah, I guess A2.1. I guess it is just the one, but it's, looks like quite a bit of info in there. So we've got the rules there. Then we got new non-player rules of play. As I mentioned, I could have swore that the non-player factions, the AI makes them, it's going to make them a bit more aggressive. That's one of the things with the Coin series, is that if you don't have a full complement of players, you can still play with all the various different factions that might be involved, because there is a built-in AI. Very, very interesting. Of course, life is easier if you have enough players, but still. Okay, so it's talking about the different non-player actions throughout here. Then we got a playbook. I always love GMT playbooks. Even though this is pretty short, because, of course, this is just a small expansion here. So talking about the Germanic role and strategy. Design notes. Why Ariovistus? It says, an earlier version of these notes from Volku appeared on the Inside GMT Games blog in 2016. It looks at why we thought Falling Sky deserved an Ariovistus expansion and how he chose what to include. Quotations from Caesar's Gallic War are translations by Carolyn Hammond, Oxford University Press. So we got some cool design notes, event text and notes. So it's some notes regarding the various different cards. So that's kind of cool. Looks like we got quite a few of these notes in here. Another thing about GMT Games, any of them that are, kind of card-driven, which the coin series are, they are card-driven in certain aspects, certain respects. They always provide you with a bunch of historical information, and I love that. I love being able to learn about things I had no clue about, as opposed to just, here's some flavored text on a card. So pretty sweet. All right, let's get this open. Take a look at these new cards. So, of course, if you have played any of the coin series, and I would assume you have, because why else would you be watching a video about an expansion to one of the games? This, of course, is the player order from the events. Kind of stuck together a little bit. Excellent card stock. Really, really nice card stock. Of course, I always recommend, sleeve your cards. Even if you're popping penny sleeves on there, always sleeve your cards. So, just taking a look at some of these. Siduni Uprising. Parlay. Dread. Caesar Quells Fears. Sweet. Ariovistus' wife. Killed in battle. Alright, quite a few of these. We got a whole deck. Whole new deck. So, of course, we did see in the scenario information it was talking about seeding the deck. So, I'm taking a guess we may actually utilize some of the Falling Sky cards because they just have the standard back for Falling Sky, as opposed to having a back with this expansion like so. So we've got quite a few of these. Looks like a full deck. And of course, we've got the artwork. And then not a bunch talking about the actual event because all of that is going to be inside the playbook. So we've got those. And what we got as far as these cards. Oh, okay, so each of the factions. So these are the faction cards. Cool. This is all of them? Yep. All right, so we've got the various different faction cards. So we've got these cards. Excuse me. We've got the new deck. We've got the playbook. We've got the non-player rules of play. We've got the expansion rules, the rule booklet itself. We've got the new counters. We've got the different handouts, the player aids here. We've got the various different non-player flowcharts for the various different AIs for each of the factions in the game. And we also have the new really nice, these are really, really nice. I mean, we're talking solid here, not just a piece of paper. So these are the new faction boards. And then we've got the new playing pieces for the Germanic tribes. And that is what we find in the new expansion for Falling Sky called Ariovistus. So as I mentioned previously, this expansion is available right now from GMT. It does carry an MSRP of $38. So some of the things that I can tell right off the bat is pretty interesting. Got a brand new scenario. You got the Germanic Tribes faction. It's a little earlier. It's like a prequel, right, to the events of Falling Sky. So I think that's pretty cool. I do dig the new player boards and the new deck. So if you are a fan of Falling Sky, I don't see any reason why you're not going to jump on board and grab yourself a copy of Ariovistus. So that is pretty much it for today's show. On tomorrow's show, as I mentioned previously, it's Thursday, so I'll be talking RPGs and be reviewing Vampire the Masquerade 5th edition from White Wolf and Modifius Entertainment. So I always like to tell you, when you're not watching videos on the Gaming Gang YouTube channel, be sure to visit thegaminggang.com for all the latest in gaming news, reviews, comics, movies, TV. You know the drill. Get your geek on at thegaminggang.com. So everybody have a great Halloween. Have a lot of fun. Be very safe. Crazy things kind of sometimes happen on Halloween, so I don't want to hear that it happened to any of our gang out there, right? So I will be back tomorrow. And as always, thank you very much for watching. Thanks again for watching The Daily Dope, presented by The Gaming Gang. If you like this episode, be sure to give it a quick thumbs up. And if you dig the channel, please subscribe. If you'd like to check out our previous episode, click right here. And if you want to check out a somewhat randomly selected episode, give a click right down here. It'll be like opening a box of Cracker Jacks. You just don't know what you'll get. Once again, thanks for watching, and I'm Jeff McAleer.